There's something different about the world after midnight. The air gets heavier, the shadows feel thicker, sounds stretch longer than they should, like they don't want to disappear. People say night is peaceful, but peace isn't what I hear when everything goes silent. It's in the silence where your mind begins to play games. You start to hear things that may or may not be real. A creak on the floor, a knock that never repeats. And sometimes, when the lights go out, something else wakes up. You try to tell yourself it's nothing, but deep inside you know something is moving in the dark. Midnight was drawing near, and the silence felt unnatural. There was something about the late hours that made everything heavier. The air, the thoughts, the shadows clinging to the corners of the room. I sat at my desk, trying to finish one last chapter. The lamp beside me flickered slightly, casting brief shivers of light across the wall. The house was still, but not in a peaceful way, more like it was holding its breath. The ticking of the wall clock had grown louder, echoing through the silence like a metronome to something unseen. Tick, tick, tick. Each sound felt like a warning, like it was trying to count down to something I couldn't name. Outside, the world seemed to disappear. The occasional sound of a distant car felt like a reminder that life still existed somewhere else, far away from this moment. Inside, it was just me, my books, my thoughts, and that sense of being watched, not by eyes, but by time itself. I told myself it was just exhaustion, that maybe the weight pressing on my chest was just stress, nothing more. But even as I stood up to go to the bathroom, part of me hesitated, as if moving would disturb something I couldn't see, something that had been sitting silently in the shadows, waiting for me to notice it. And then everything stopped. The lights went out. The house became quiet. Usually, even when the power's out, you can hear small sounds. Maybe a car outside or voices far away. But this time, nothing at all. Just the gentle drip of water and my own breathing. I stood still, waiting. But nothing changed. I switched on my phone's flashlight, slowly opened the bathroom door, and stepped into the dark hallway. Something about the silence felt different. Maybe it was just my imagination. And then I heard it. Footsteps. Fast. Heavy. Inside my house. It wasn't the creak of old wood or the scurrying of some small animal. No, these were human steps. Rushed. Desperate. Angry. My heart skipped a beat, then pounded so hard I could hear it in my ears. I stopped moving. I didn't even breathe. My body reacted before my mind could catch up. Everything just locked. Because that sound, it shouldn't have been there. No one else was supposed to be home. No one. But it wasn't just the fact that someone was running. It was the direction, the rhythm, the way the footsteps seemed to circle the room before stopping abruptly, as if whatever it was had noticed me too. I stood there, frozen at the edge of the hallway. I didn't want to look around the corner. I didn't want to know, because something deep inside me whispered, if you see it, it'll see you. And then what? I stepped closer, slow and careful, like one wrong move could wake something up. My breathing felt too loud, like it didn't belong in this silence. Each second stretched, every heartbeat like thunder in my chest. And then I looked. The living room, still, quiet, untouched. No overturned furniture, no open doors, nothing out of place. And somehow that made it worse, because I heard it. I heard the footsteps, fast, real. They weren't imagined. They weren't dreams. But now, there's nothing, just the weight of absence. I scanned the room. Shadows stretched across the walls, longer than they should have been. They bent at angles that didn't make sense, like they belonged to things that weren't there. And for a moment, I swore they were watching me. Not the room, me. Like they knew I was here. Like they were waiting for something. But why? What had I walked into? Then it happened again. Footsteps, the same frantic rhythm. But this time, louder, faster, closer. I turned my light toward the window instinctively, as if I expected to see something, anything. But there was only glass, and behind it, the night. But the sound, it wasn't outside. It was here, in the room, moving, circling. I tried to follow it with my ears, but it was everywhere. Left, behind me, the corner, then in front again. Each step pounding against the floor like it had purpose, like it was deliberate. It wasn't random noise, it had rhythm, direction, intent. And suddenly, I realized something terrifying. I wasn't just hearing it, I was inside it. It was moving around me, encasing me, like I'd stepped into a loop I couldn't escape. And with every second, I felt more certain that I was no longer just a witness. I was involved. Whatever this was, it had noticed me, and now it was reacting to me. The rhythm changed. No more footsteps, no more running, just a low, dragging sound, heavy, deliberate. It wasn't random. It wasn't trying to escape. It wanted to be heard, like something or someone was being pulled across the floor, and the sound scraped deep into me, like nails on old wood or bones on tile. I followed the noise with my eyes first, and then I saw it. The floor was marked, scratched, fresh, and the marks led to the kitchen door. It wasn't just sound anymore. It left a trail, like it was waiting for me to notice, waiting for me to come closer. I reached for the kitchen door, still locked. My fingers tightened around the handle, but it didn't budge. There was no reason for it to be locked, not unless someone or something locked it from the other side. I leaned closer, the cold wood pressing against my cheek. At first I heard nothing, just my own breathing, shaky and uncertain. But then the sound slipped through the cracks, whispers, not words, not clearly, more like thoughts. Trying to escape from someone's lips, but failing to form, soft, broken, almost human. And then the faint sound of movement, feet brushing lightly against the floor behind the door, as if something was pacing. No, waiting. I froze, held my breath. That's when I heard it. Breathing, not mine. It was slow, rasping, almost animalistic. The kind of breathing that doesn't come from lungs, but from somewhere darker, deeper, unnatural. It felt close, too close. The door didn't move, but I swear something behind it leaned forward, pressed its presence against the barrier, not trying to open it, just letting me know it was there, listening, breathing, with me. It came fast, no warning, no buildup. One moment I was standing still, and the next I heard it. Footsteps, fast, heavy, charging straight behind me. I didn't even have time to think, just instinct. My body turned around in a snap. My heart jumped into my throat. But there was nothing, no one there, no trace. And yet, I could still feel it. The wind it pushed as it passed me. The sudden pressure in the air behind my back, like someone had just run through my shadow. I stood frozen, eyes wide, chest rising and falling like I had just run a marathon. Then, the lights came back on, without sound, no flicker, just on. The house was bright again, warm, safe looking, but it wasn't real, because whatever was here, whatever ran behind me, hadn't left. It had just stopped running, and now it was watching. People say that ghosts don't haunt places. They haunt moments, moments too painful to let go, too loud to forget. I used to think these stories were just that. Stories, tales made to scare, to thrill, to pass the night. But after that night, I've started to believe something else. Maybe the footsteps I heard weren't meant for me. Maybe I just happened to be awake at the wrong time. But then again, maybe they were always there, waiting. Not a memory on loop, but a presence. One that noticed I was listening, that I heard it and looked for it. And now, it knows me. It knows where I sleep. It knows the sound of my footsteps. It knows I'm afraid. And next time, it won't just run behind me. It might stop. It might turn around. And this time, it might reach out.